Hi guys, I am back with another mini lesson bonus reward for my Kickstarter, my current Kickstarter. If you haven't backed it already, I would love to see you over there. This is how you get lots of content like this. My current course that I'm teaching on running ads to Kickstarter is going to have about 60 full video lessons just like this, actually even more in depth and longer with notes, worksheets, that type of thing, and you can expect the same type of stuff from the full Kindle Unlimited course. It's only $100 USD, and if you missed my Kickstarter ads course, you can add that on for another 100. So it's open for another few weeks. I would love to see you there. I'm so close to getting above 30,000. So if you've already backed, please tell friends. If you haven't backed, what are you doing, guys? So as a thank you for hitting our 150 backers, and we're almost to 200, so we almost have another video, I want to do a mini lesson. And because I am an ADHD superstar, I decided to pick lots of questions to answer, but not to write any of them down. So they're in my brain. And the general theme of this lesson is, where did everything go? You're running Facebook ads. There's a certain feature you want, like audience targeting. I get asked about a lot. You want to see which of your images or videos is performing the best in an ad that's a flex, carousel, or multi, and you just don't know where it is, or you know where it is, but it's glitching out on you. I'm going to show you the workarounds I found in the place where everything lives. So that's going to be the main thrust of this video, but you can definitely expect my famous golden tangents. It's a feature, not a bug. My ADHD tends to drop the most highest level tips when I just randomly have a thought, but I promise we'll always come back to the topic at hand. I'm doing a dual Loom and Facebook Live, so I'll check for questions occasionally. You might also be watching this as a replay on YouTube, so wherever you're joining me from, welcome. Feel free to ask questions. My favorite place to get the questions is on the Kickstarter updates to feed the algorithm. So you can just head to Kickstarter and search for Melissa Storm, and you will find Facebook ads for authors, the Kindle Unlimited course. I'd really, really love to see you inside and to help me get over this 30K hump. So okay, let's see where everything has been hiding on us. So I am in my ads dashboard. This is where I'm running ads to the Kickstarter. I love the whole meta-ness of showing you how I'm reaching you. So these are direct sales ads. These are purchase conversion ads. So it's different than what we'll be doing in the Kindle Unlimited course, but this is the data I have now because I'm teaching about direct sales now. And after the Kindle Unlimited course, which will also cover wide retailers and best practices for traffic ads, just today I found a really good thing for wide ads that I can't wait to share with you. So if you want that to be the next mini lesson, let me know. But I will be deep diving Kindle Unlimited ads, and then in the course that follows, because I'm doing one live cohort mastermind course per quarter, will be Shopify. So we're going to kind of go back and forth between direct sales and traffic ads. So this is showing you some direct sales stuff. A lot of the principles are the same for direct sales versus traffic, but the metrics are going to look a little bit different, and I'll make sure I cover that thoroughly in the course. Right now, my Sphinx cats are fighting in the background for an added bit of chaos, so if you hear weird noises, that's what's happening. And if you see a flash of nudity across the screen, it is a Sphinx cat. If I can grab one fast enough, I'll show you guys. But okay, here's my dashboard. I'm currently doing a nail-biting technique called the hard reset. So my ads started to trend down, and I said, okay, I'm turning them off for 48 hours, and then I'm going to start completely new. So right now, behind the scenes, I'm making new creatives targeted to specific personas or psychographic profiles, which we'll be talking about a lot. But I started kind of with a more general type of ads, and then I drilled down the data to see exactly who was interested, and then I created new ad copy and new graphics just to talk to those people. So how did I do that? Here you have columns, and if you click on the one that looks like a bar graph, you can break down and see who's engaging and doing the action you want. So we can look at age, for instance. And I know that my fellow millennials and then Gen X are my biggest, best supporters. So if I want to see this a little bit more clearly, I can change my columns. So here's where I adjust what data I'm seeing. And I want ROAS, return on ad spend, and value. I'm just going to drop that in there. And now we're going to be able to see more clearly that, like if we look at this campaign here, it might look misleading that 65 plus ROAS is over 100, which is insane. But I had one very high tier backer come in from that. So I'm looking at a mix of the results value, the results ROAS, and then the number of results. So we're actually seeing here that the bulk of my backers are between 35 and 64. So I have a couple of different ad sets, and that holds true in both. So really 35 to 64 is the sweet spot for this campaign. And I can continue to break it down even more. I'll actually make the columns even easier to read. So hold on. I'm just going to move results down here so that the three numbers we're looking at are sitting next to each other, just to make it a little bit easier. So let's do another breakdown. I can also look at gender. And I know that women love me. The ladies love me. That was annoying, sorry. So again, we're looking at like, okay, the ROAS looks great on men, but we have two. We only have two there. And if we look at this other campaign, you can see that women have the better ROAS and more conversions. So I am speaking to a female audience primarily. Next up, these all look the same to me, sorry. We can break it down by some other stuff. How about geography? This is a direct sales campaign, so I can target more than one country at a time. If you're running an Amazon campaign, you don't want to do that. I've tested that as recently as last week with a Genius link that will automatically change to the correct market that the person is in, and it just tanked results. So for now, best practice is to keep your geography separate for traffic ads, but you can strategically combine them with direct sales ads, provided you're not mentioning prices and currencies. So if we look at the breakdown, we can see I've got good love in Australia and Canada. I'm pretty pleased. Those two combined are almost as many as the US in that first campaign. And then here we are US dominant, but I see a strong contingent in Australia and Canada. So what you've seen so far, I have broken down these things, and I'm starting to get a picture of who my customer is. So I created 2 customer avatars. This is a more advanced technique, but it's really where ads are going since they're very personalized. So I took all of my general ad copy. I noted what's doing best, which we're going to cover in a second. And then I said, okay, Australia and Canada, I feel similar vibes there. I hope it's not offensive to anyone in any country, either of those countries. But those are my 2 favorite countries where if I had to live somewhere, I would choose one of them because whenever I'm with people from those countries, I always feel at home. So there's a similar laid back vibe. There's a similar kindness. There's a similar, there's just something that I decided to target in my persona. So one of my people I'm going to be targeting in the new ads I set up tomorrow for my Kickstarter course and for this campaign that you're a part of is I'm going to target Australia and Canada together, women who are 35 to 64. And I've created a laid back persona who drinks tea and just wants to enjoy writing and not have to bother about the stress and nonsense of ads. So that's one persona. And the other persona is also a woman, 35 to 64, but she's an American who's anxious as all get out. She's frazzled, she's tired, she's overwhelmed, she's doing way too much, and she is so over the rapid fire changes, and she has tried every course. She's hoarding courses. She may or may not be watching them, but even when she finds the answer, it changes. It works for a month and then it stops working. What the heck? No, she needs something that's going to work long term. That's my other ideal customer I'll be targeting. And I got that all from just this demographic breakdown. So it's pretty cool what you can do if you look at the patterns and then what are they telling me. So that's how I built avatars through audience breakdowns. You can break down even further. So I was also looking at placement, platform, and also operating system. So if we look at placement, we'll see, it's okay, let the cats fight. We will see cats, this is really embarrassing to me during my live video. You need to stop. All right, here's Sky Princess. She's trying to make the cat stop, but it's not working. All right, so you can see primarily I'm getting Facebook on the desktop and in the mobile app. That is where almost everybody's coming from. And then I also saw further breaking down that Android and iOS were roughly the same. I can also do, so I got all of that breakdown, and I usually have 2 tabs open simultaneously. Just, whoop. Okay, I don't see any comments, but I just don't want to miss them. Okay. So I have, I usually have 2 tabs open simultaneously, but now I'm going to go to advertising settings. So if you want to know where one of the major targeting pivots exists outside of what you do in your creative, in my last mini lesson, I talked about general engine optimization with the words we're using in the description block, which I call the SEO block. And we talked about visual engine optimization and what Meta is able to tell from the videos and images you upload. This is the other major place. So if you are running direct sales ads, you absolutely want your engaged and existing audience defined. It's important for traffic ads as well, but it's less important. But what that's doing is it's priming the ad count to understand who your customer is and who's interested in you. So here I'm using newsletters. You could use Shopify lists or customer lists where you know how much money they've spent with you. That's LTV or lifetime value. That's huge because it allows them to give more importance to people who have spent more money with your brand and find more people like them. And then I have pixel audiences, and you want to define that as well as you can. Just remember, your newsletter is not your customers. That's engaged audience. That's really important because unless you know for sure they've made a purchase, you don't want to tell Facebook they have. Furthermore, that breakdown we did, you're going to come to value rules, and I'll go back and click it again. So right here, value rules, you can see that I keep iterating based on the results, and I keep nudging it even more and more and becoming more and more specific. But what you can do is create a rule set. And the first thing you want to do is gender, for sure. If you write romance, do gender, men, decrease bid by 90%. Because even if you say in the ad set that you only want to target women, Facebook doesn't care. They will auto expand. But if you set the value rule, they will respect your wishes, and you are not going to get man targeted unless it's extremely cheap. And I do prefer to decrease bids on people and placements you don't want rather than increasing on placements you do want. So this just means that if it's 20 cents to target a woman, to get a woman to take the action, it has to be 2 cents for the man or they won't do it. You can then add another rule, and you can there's all kinds of things you can break down. So I do the age as well, and I decrease the bids on these groups. Usually I have 25 to 34. I decrease the bid maybe by 50% and then decrease the bid by 75% or more on the 2 tails for me. And for some fiction authors, 65 plus is going to be a great demo, but if you know that you get a lot of clicks and not a lot of conversions, you might want to downbid that. And you get all of this by doing the breakdown and just like really thinking about your data and your core customer. I also downbid by placement. So I know that for me and for this campaign that I'm running right now, Facebook feed dominates. So I downbid all the other placements. Usually I downbid stories and reels on both platforms because I know they don't convert as well. So it's still really important to have video ads and to hit the stories and reels placements, but it's going to convert at about 1/3 of the rate of an image ad. So you want to pay about 1/3. So in those cases, I will do like Instagram stories and reels, decrease bid by 65% or 65%. And then for Facebook stories and reels, I'll decrease by as much as 90. So it's just finessing this, playing around with it. I also decrease bids when I'm doing a global audience by country, because I know that certain countries I'm going to burn through really fast. Australia and Canada are great supporters of me. We just vibe. I love these countries, but they are small compared to the US. So if I don't have a value rule set up to downbid them, what's going to happen is at the beginning of my campaign, I'm going to get, maybe 10 backers from Australia and Canada really cheap, but then they're not going to be able to find more people and it's going to skyrocket. So I would rather it be more steady and slow and keep a good return. So that is value rules. You can set up a stack and you can see that I'm continuously modifying how I'm doing it as I'm pulling in more data. You can then apply the value rules at the ad set level. So here we have, I'll show you exactly where you have to turn it on. Value rules, it's kind of hidden, it's hard to see. And then I can choose which of my rules I want to apply. So strongly, strongly, strongly recommend doing that and just going through the advertising settings tab and setting all of those various rules. Setting your audiences. You can also, I'll pop back there one more second because there's another pain point I can address from the advertising settings. Creative features. If you're sick of Meta turning on a ton of AI enhancements, you can simply tell them not to do it. You'll still get some, but you'll get a lot less. If I want to test new creative features, apparently I can't. I don't know. I haven't seen that before, but you can toggle that on and then you can pick and choose which ones are allowed. What else? Pixels live there. And then social information, if you have this toggled on, it will kind of auto combine similar ads. So if you're duplicating into different ad sets, like let's say I want to test, eventually I'm going to want to see if Americans identify with my Canadian Australian persona and vice versa. So I'm going to start very purely, but then I'm going to duplicate the ad and see if I can cross-pollinate. And because I have this box checked, when I do that, it's going to bring over the social proof. So that's a good box to have checked. So advertising settings. If it's not in the shortcuts for you like it is for me, you can just click search and type it in. But advertising settings is where you want to go to set all those value rules, and I showed you where to add them on the campaign level. And there's one more thing I want to show you. It's just, I'm trying to see if there's comments without like revealing my personal messages. Okay, not so far. Okay. So the other thing I want to show you is, this is something that people are really searching for, and I found it 2 weeks ago after I also searched for it, because in the past you could do a breakdown, and I swear guys, this wasn't here right before I started recording. It comes and goes. It's very finicky. So people want to know which of the images is performing best. So right now it is showing me what's happening. This is almost never available, and when it is available, it's almost always doesn't actually work. But if we take a look here and do the breakdown for which image is converting Here we go. So this video of me in the hat got this video. So we're seeing this creative. So we're seeing when I have a lot of images and videos together in a single ad, which one is leading to the result. So usually it doesn't work right there, I swear. Right now it is. I'm going to show you another place to find it that's more reliable. And one more thing I want to show you in the breakdown is audience segments, provided it actually is there. Okay, demographics, audience segments. And I really like this because if you think of the advertising settings and how you can define the engaged audience and existing customers, Meta will then map it against your cold audience. So if we look at the original campaign I set up, the cold audience wasn't converting as high. It was still positive ROAS. But existing customers were sitting at 10.45 and engaged audience was 8.55. So if somebody belongs to both audiences, say they're on your newsletter and they're a customer, they're going to go to the stronger audience. So they're going to be part of the customer audience. So Meta doesn't let somebody be in both. So my engaged audience is people who know of me, interact with me, but have never purchased from me before. And they're converting at a very high rate so that the next time I run a campaign, they'll be sitting in the existing customers. And my cold audience was doing something, but it was weak. And then if you see up here, I was able to dial in the cold audience with the new campaign. So this is something I'm forever working on because these are 3 buckets of customers. Like, yes, it's great to have the existing customers keep coming back. It's great to finally convert someone who's been in your audience but hasn't purchased before. Now they have, but you also need to keep putting new people in to the top of the funnel of brand new cold audience. So that's another really helpful thing to look at. And if you look at it and your engaged audience is converting very poorly, you have an issue where you probably need to scrub your list. Maybe you've done too many newsletter swaps or promo builders and you have a really low quality audience. Sucks to say, but that's something to be cognizant of. It should be converting fairly close to your existing audience, the way you see mine. So now, if we want to break down by creative more, let me see if it actually will do it this time. Okay, so it's gone again. Do you guys see that? Let me refresh. This is something Meta just sunsetted dynamic creative after like 2 years of saying they were going to do it. They finally removed dynamic creative. It's gone. So right now there's a little confusion in how things are named. And the reporting is a bit wonky, but you can see I had just broken down by image, slideshow, and video, and now I can't. And now this dynamic creative breakdown is gone. That's how fast it changes. It does this to me constantly. So if you want to reliably access that great info I saw, you're going to click this little journal and you're going to do View Ad Creative Performance. This is the reliable spot. So now we have a pivot table. That's a little bit overwhelming. So the first thing I'm going to do is filter just the campaign I want by typing in a keyword that I know maps to that campaign. Okay, here's all this stuff. And I don't actually want to see the ad creative because it's a multi, which means there's multiple images and videos attached to each. So I'm just going to uncheck that. Okay, so here is where we have, this is what it's sorting by, and then this is the data it's giving us, metrics. So if I click here, I can change what's showing in the metrics, but I don't want to. I want to look at breakdown more, and I want to scroll all the way down. And here we have dynamic creative asset, and I can click image. And this would be so much more impressive if it hadn't worked for 1 second on my main dashboard, but this is where you can find it pretty regularly. Sometimes this glitches too, but this is a glitch rate of like 10% versus a glitch rate of like 99% in the main dashboard. So it's something they're working on. They want people to come over here and save arrangements. But here I can see very expressly what's doing the work. And I actually looked at this as well to figure out my personas. So I can see, you know, which ones are converting at a larger scale. So since this is direct sales, I had some higher tiers. So that's why we have some outliers. This is one person, but it's $2,500. That means a high tier backer converted here, and they converted on Thea's video as well, my testimonial. But I get to see what's doing the work. And then if I uncheck it, I will have the option to look at a different breakdown, so I can look at the text I'm using. And this is how I found out which of my texts. I had 5 different options, have done most of the work. And we have the lead ads for the campaign as well down there. Okay, so really there's 2 winners, and I use that as well. One fits more the anxious American. Everything's changed. It's horrible. And one fits my chill Aussie Canadian of welcome to my next course, and we're so friendly and happy. Both are authentic. It's how I teach. So now I can click customize, and I can break it down by something else. I just have to get rid of, it can be a little glitchy, like where is it? And you just have to scroll or refresh to get it back. So I have to expand it. I have to unclick the text. Down again, which headlines are converting? Okay. Boring ones. Boring ones are converting. Cool. Okay. Refresh, I guess. So it's still kind of glitchy, but if you're willing to be patient with it, you can get all the data you desire. And I always desire a lot. So now it's disappeared again, but if I scroll enough, it comes back. It's so dumb. Did you see it came and then it went? Like this is the reality now. So if this is happening to you, you're not insane. Meta's insane, and we all just live in its little happy-ish world. Let's do description. This is what I call the SEO block. Okay, it's not going to give it to me. I will get it back, guys. This is just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. Okay. Sometimes I can hit Command minus to make my screen zoom out, and then it will come. So that's what I just did. So now we'll look at description, or the SEO block. Okay, so there's 1 that it was using out of 5. So when it was time for me to make new copy, I used the top performers as the base, and then I customized them to the 2 personas I made based on the breakdown. So that is where those important things live now. So this is a longer mini lesson, but I hope it was helpful. I'm happy to take questions. My favorite place is going to be on the Kickstarter itself, so you can come and comment on the main thing, or I'm about to post an update with this replay. Please come there and ask me questions, and if you haven't backed yet, please help me get over that 30K hump. It would mean so much to me, and I'd love to see it happen today. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you'd like to learn next. Bye.